As we continue on with the A Squared season in its infancy, we are here in the hills of central New York for one of the first few road courses these drivers will navigate here today. My name is Kevin Young, and I will be hopefully joined soonly by Ryan Pannell. He is the special guest here, as he is in a situation where he obviously isn't the strongest when it comes to the road courses, but he always loves to come in for these, in the booth during these, and also, you've heard him before in other series, so he gets to flex his commentary muscle. But we are here for the Sticker Robot Rumble at the Glen, obviously presented by KJF Designs. So obviously right now you can see we're watching Josh Gaiman. That is the wrong button. We will see as you will go on the screen now. Josh Gaiman on his second lap here, currently sitting P18 on his run. This will be his second lap. Current pole sitter is Andrew Navarro, followed by John Hagan and Brandon Fed. Place your top three as they will continue their laps as we see drivers go around. Right there, the 61 will cross the line, and it'll be good enough for P9 for the 61. Josh Gaiman will go 9th fastest. So top 5 at the moment. While we do find someone else here on a run, we got Brent Roberts. We'll follow him as he will now start his first of 2 flying laps in his number 84. We'll take this quick opportunity just to show the top 5 here. So we will take this off the screen, and we'll show this. So you can see the top 5 at the moment is Navarro, Hagan, Millet, Featherplace, and Michelle. They are the current top 5, but with still a lot of the field to set times, this could easily be switching anytime soon. So Navarro, obviously fastest, obviously coming into today as basically a part-timer, I believe. Hagan, Millet, Featherplace, and Michelle are your top 5. Roberts obviously going through the travel here, and we'll take this second lap he will take, as long as he takes a second lap, and we'll ride on board with the driver of the 84, and it looks like he is backing it down just a tiny bit. Now he's still going full throttle, going to take as much of the corner as he can to try to get a good run here. So we'll take this opportunity now, as usually route courses can be very tricky to a degree. So we'll actually get inside the cockpit of Brent Roberts here, and we're going to let him take us around a lap here around Watkins Glen for a second run. So past the goal pulling line, almost hits the wall, and he will take the straight shot down, heading off into 1 here. And as while we watch this lap, it looks like the plane has just landed, and we are now joined by Ryan Pannell. Ryan, what's up?
I'm here. Yep. It's good to be in the booth. Had some wheel issues. Wheel wasn't working, so I get to have a sub in that 12 car tonight, so that'll be cool to see my car going around out there tonight. But yeah, I'm excited to call the race.
Yep, it is great to have you along. Obviously, last time we did this was Chicago Street Course last year, so obviously great to see you back here again, as you are one of the heart and souls of A Squared and ARCS, so it's good to see your perspective, as Brent Roberts is not having good perspective as we follow around with him now. He will end up looping it through the bus stop, meaning his second run is going to be mute, and he will have to settle for the time he ended up setting, which will be only good enough at the moment for actually no time, as his first lap was also an invalidation. So 2 minutes ago on the clock, we have at the moment, pretty much everyone has wrapped up their runs for the most part here. We'll focus on Zach Millet for a second. But Ryan, since you are the guest, what makes Watkins Glen such a special place for these drivers? As it seems to be a track that a lot of drivers love to come to, and a lot of leagues love to run on iRacing in these next-gen machines.
Yeah, it's just a track that the drivers know very well, just whether it's watching, real cup racing here or, doing some endurance stuff. Even though it might be a slightly different layout, it's just it's one of those road courses that's kind of like Sonoma. So it's just very familiar with everyone. You know exactly kind of what the track looks like and what you have to do out there. So that familiarity is just really key.
Yeah, familiarity is key, and I think something else that helps it as well is a very simpler road course in comparison to a lot of the other trickier ones you'll see throughout, obviously, America and even Europe and the rest of the world, per se. It's simpler enough that it has a bit of a learning curve, but once you master it, it's simple to learn, but very rewarding when you can really put 10 the times and put down a flyer. So pretty much qualifying is pretty much done for the moment here, as only drivers on track are doing warm-up laps and pretty much shaking down their cars before we get an official 5-minute warm-up, including right now Zach Millet, who currently sits P3 on the charts, the hometown kid, obviously born in the New York area, one of 2 New York drivers in the field, the other being Nicholas Pressey, who is currently qualified 7th on the grid right now at the moment.
And we will be sending one person home tonight as well. We got 44 cars out there trying to qualify, so one independent driver will be going home as well.
At the moment, it's hard to tell because I'm looking at the drivers haven't set times and seeing who maybe is the driver that would be the unlucky one. I've got a couple. At least we got Drew, Kyle St. Jean, and I believe Thomas Melinek were all not putting down time. So we'll see how this is ruled. But overall qualifying will officially conclude, and your pole sitter will be Navarro, who will be leading the drivers to the green here as we move on to warm-up.
Yeah, TMH is actually race control. We're trying to get him to not join the lobby. But Kyle is actually a sub driver for James Kerr, so he's locked in.
Okay.
So it'll actually be Drew that will not qualify for this race. Yep.
Oh, that's a crying shame. Is obviously it's a pressure you do not want to be in. Obviously, Ryan is a driver that has done a lot of races. You have yet to miss an A-squared competition for qualifying purposes, so it's definitely a hot seat moment. And sadly, Drew could not make it through. But the other 40 drivers will not let that rain on their parade as they will get ready here and take this last little bit of warm-up to get the cars shaken down. Obviously, I'm proposing a lot of questions here, Ryan, but I'll ask you as you're someone that races this series week in and week out, what do you usually do during these warm-up periods? Because it's only 5 minutes, and depending on the track, it can be not long enough sometimes to really do anything. So what do you do in these situations when you have this time kind of to yourself before the race truly starts?
Yeah, honestly, me personally, I usually just kind of take a moment to myself. I usually don't go out on track unless it's somewhere where, I really need some practice. I just take the 5 minutes, maybe go, grab a drink before the race and, maybe go, just try and get in the right mindset for the race. So, but a lot of drivers do enjoy the 5 minutes of, practicing before the race, especially at tracks like Watkins, Glen, and some of the tougher places. So it's good to have, but I never really use it, but that's probably why I'm slow out there, so maybe I should start using it.
Hey, sometimes I think personally, at least for myself, you could give me 25 minutes or even 2 hours at this track, and I don't think it would give me much preparation to make my car go any faster on a road courses. It's just not a field of expertise that I think I am personally in. So as we see cars taking advantage of this opportunity, we're following right now on the number 39 of Colin McDonough as he is basically bringing the race sponsor to life on his machine. As we see the stickerrobot.com all upholstered that paint scheme as he's looking to get that car in a nice position for the main race. So 2 minutes and some change to go here, as drivers probably get about 2-3 laps to take. Obviously, while we got this second, Ryan, can you fill us in with some of the race information we have? Obviously, I think it's 65 laps, but anything to look out for in the main race info-wise?
Yeah, so we did change. Most of the time we do have automatic iRacing cautions turned on. We do not have those turned on tonight. So the only time you're going to see a caution will be for the stage breaks. And then if there is a just huge wreck that is pretty much a track blocker in front of the field, they'll throw it. But other than that, it's pretty much going to stay green other than those stage breaks. So that's one big difference tonight versus other races throughout the season.
Yeah, we usually, as personally, covered a lot of road course races throughout my time here. You don't usually see cautions thrown, except obviously in the NASCAR section where there's obviously stage breaks. But outside of that, you really will not see a track blocker happen at most road courses. Obviously, we went to like a Long Beach or something, the light could maybe a bit higher. But overall, drivers can keep usually pointing in the right direction and can keep it going. Other than that, there'll be 6 sets of tires to these drivers, 50% fuel load capacity, so these cars will have a little less fuel than what the normal drivers would have. And lastly, noteworthy as well, no fast repairs. So if a driver does make a mistake and horribly tears up their car, it will be terminal, and they will not be able to continue in tonight's race. So at the moment, Zach Millett showing why he is a favorite driver here in the A-Squared Cup Series, currently the fastest in warm-up, well over half a second clear of Jeremy Braille, currently sitting in P2. Good run for the number 74 car as well, who has found victory once this season, looking to try to keep pace with John Hagan and join the 2 Winners Club. He'll have to do that from a little bit further back than he likes to, but we'll see if that can happen. Last question before we obviously finish up warm-up here, Ryan. Any drivers to keep an eye out for here tonight? Anyone you got your eye on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Andrew Navarro, he's a sub tonight in the 16. He is super fast. Obviously, Jacob Bradley, who's subbing for me tonight, he is extremely fast. And then, of course, just the ones to always look at is, John Hagan, Zach Millett. We also have Aiden Norman in the race tonight, subbing for Briley in that number 51 machine. Aiden also very, very fast, especially on these road courses. So there is a lot of really good, almost kind of road course ringers that are running this race tonight.
Yeah, it brings out a lot of drivers. Obviously, Aiden Norman has found success in previous years. We'll have to keep an eye out for him. But checkered flag coming out for the warm-up here. We are going to get ready for the main race and the 65 laps that await these drivers, and we will see you on the other side here. Warm-up complete. Now let's move on to the main race. Now here, ready to go here for the 2025 Sticker Robot Rumble at the Glen, presented by KJF Designs. And as the drivers get warmed up on the grid, we'll take a look at where they will be firing off on the starting grid. So taking a look at that now. Oop, that's the wrong button. That will be what we want. And we'll take the race name off, and there we will go. So obviously first row is going to be Navarro, Andrew Navarro, and John Hagan. They will make up row number 1. Row number 2 will be Zach Millett and Brandon Featherplace. Row number 3 will be Daniel Michelle, and obviously filling in for you, Ryan, Jacob Bradley. They'll make up row number 3. Row number 4, Nicholas Pressey and Aiden Norman. And row number 5 will be Josh Gaiman and Jonathan Adams. As we move further on, we'll have Cody Pannell and Pacey Wygant. David Smeal Jr. and Steve Tucker in row number 7. Brian Dixon and Jeremy Braille in row number 8. We got Ross Baxter and Mike LaJoy in row number 9. Connor Knowlton and Riley Machio in row 10. Davey Hawk and Connor McDonough in row 11. Row 12 would be Jared Merchant and Seth Wanzing. Row number 13, Josh Battles and Kevin Feemster. Row 14, Chris Fleming and Vincenzo Icavazzi. Row 15, Tommy Withers and Ethan Wood. Row 16, Dale Markowski and Mark DeLayla. Row 17, Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence and Brian Johnson. Row number 18, Marshall Harris and Elliot Longenecker. Row 19, obviously Mr. Jua is not here, and Bren Roberts, they'll make up row 19. Row 20, Matt Vordon and Kyle St. Jean. David Wright and Matthew Kent in row number 21. Hudspeth and Melancholy Holland. And lastly, Alfred George will round out the 43 cars, and he will take it from the 43rd spot. So as the cars get ready here and drive around, obviously you can see some drivers running special paint schemes, even though there is no theme here. Obviously, Ryan, anything else you want to bring up here before we get going here?
I was just excited, crazy that we got 43 cars to show up for Watkins Glen. A lot of people don't like road courses, but everybody showed up tonight, and I'm sure this is probably going to be a little crazy here at the start.
Yep, a lot of drivers. Some want to be lap 1 heroes. Others want to take it a bit cautious. Obviously, we do hope that it can stay relatively pointed in the right direction for everyone and no one ends up getting turned around. But luckily, if you can keep the car clean and you do make a mistake, there is 2-stage cautions that can benefit the drivers if they need it. So they can have those in the back pocket, but you don't want to rely on those if you can. Lastly, Ryan, what is your top? Who do you think is going to have the best chance at winning here? Who do you think is going to take the checker flag at the end of 65 laps?
I like Jacob Bradley, not only just because he's in my car, but I've watched him just dominate in TNT, our Thursday night series with the Gen 4 car. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience in this next gen car, but I have a lot of faith in him, and I think he's going to get the job done.
Personally, I like the odds. Obviously, I think Zach Millett, I think, is going to be my eye in the sky to watch. Hometown kid, I think he's got the best chance to find victory lane. So as pace car gets ready to pull on off, control will be on green. Superficial ones will be on the race leader. Pace car is off, green flag is out, and the Sticker Robot Rumble at the Glen is underway. So as they come off the last corner, we usually let the drivers get the sight and the sound and hear the noise, and the first lap will be led by that number 16, even though it is the 42 on our screens, of Andrew Navarro, with Hagan, Millett, Featherplace, and Michelle being your top 5. But good news overall is no one really had any major problems there going into 1, so disaster avoided for the most part, and everyone keeps it pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a big deal, because with 43 cars, that's hard to do here at Watkins Glen. So good job to everybody to give everybody space and have a good clean first lap. Hopefully we can keep it that way till the stage break at lap 10.
Yeah, hopefully we can indeed, and you'll obviously will see differing strategies throughout the stage, but a little bit further back, I see that 28 looking to make a big move on Steve Tucker, and he will successfully do it. So put the 21 up a spot, he'll get around the 24, and that will be for 15th. But another kind of thing noting as well, seeing a lot of the spacing here. Cars are kind of respecting each other, leaving space, and gaps are beginning to grow. So no one trying to chop on each other's toes and really trying to get on each other's bad side here, as Knowlton will get around that 21. So Hawk going wrong way quickly here. He's going to have to find some extra speed if he wants to keep it forward.
Yeah, I mean, this first run is really just trying to get to that stage break at lap 10. It seems like it's pretty quick, but 10 laps around here at Watkins Glen is a long time. So everybody just trying to stay clean here in the first part of this race. That's the most important thing.
Yep, keeping the car clean, as obviously you do not want to spend extra time on pit lane if you can help it, as it is sometimes the sayings always says, if you end up finding the squirrels, you're ending up finding a nut, and you don't want to be back there just in case things go sour. Obviously, on our screen, we just saw Jeremy Braille make a move on, I believe it was Pacey Wygent there, so put the 74 up a spot. But, again, right now, fastest car on track is actually going to be that one of John Hagan, who is actually getting hounded by the 31 of Millett. So even though Hagan set the fast lap of the race, he's really not making much inroads here on the leader, and in turn, he's got to keep that car fast because he's got a hungry 31 sitting behind him.
Yeah, I kind of figured these three were probably going to be the three that were going to battle for the race win. Brendan Fetterplace is doing a great job back there in 4th. You know, not really known as a road course driver, but he's up here battling with these top 3 that are super fast tonight.
Yeah, obviously we talked to Featherplace last week. This is a track he didn't have 100% circled on his calendar of success. He felt like the other 2 weeks, Texas and Martinsville, were better in his wheelhouse, but overall, he's putting a good show in that Ghost Energy machine at the moment, currently sitting P4. Looks like car had an off-track moment a little bit ago. Looks like it was the 19 of Marshall Harris, and you can see him having another mistake in that Bowie Esports sponsored machine. That left front is heavily damaged, and it looks like there's some slight smoke coming out of it, but I think that was just dirt from the apex. Luckily, though, car still seems to be in working order, and obviously, with no major catastrophe, we stay green more importantly. Back to the front, though, top 3 beginning to pull away from that 34, and this is where you have to, with road course racing, it's a bit different when it comes to ovals. As with road course racing, you have to be on that edge for both lefts and right and really know how to wheel this thing around and feel the car kind of break, where in ovals, you still got to be on that edge, but it's more about line placement rather than gearing up and momentum into corners.
Yeah, I've watched some of these guys. I've watched their laps, and it's just amazing how on edge they really are. I can't do it personally. It's so difficult for me, but they make it look really easy, and they do a good job of it.
Yes, they do indeed. Obviously, it looks like right now at the moment, the lap ticker looks like it's showing up on the screen here, so we're going to have to reset ATVO for a second here, so we're going to stay on live action, and if anything does happen, we'll cut to it, but we're going to give ATO a quick reset here just to make sure we get our lap counter working here, because obviously, if I can't tell when the stage is going to end, and Ryan obviously would be the one that could call it out, luckily having a partner in the booth, but it can still be a bit confusing for the viewers at home. But still, 42 leading the way, but he is getting still pressured by the 1 and the 29 of Millett.
Yeah, right now we are on lap 5. We'll be coming to lap 6, so we got about 4 laps left here in this first stage. But yeah, it's always good to just be able to see it visually versus us having to tell you, every couple laps what lap it is, because once you get going in these races, those laps, they're hard to keep up with.
Yep, obviously it could be a lot of things when it comes to that, or cautions, or even anything in between. We obviously seen fuel runs play a factor as well in these situations, where sometimes you got to make those economy runs work. See if the lap counter is working, and it is all good to go here. So we now see lap 6 on the screen. Obviously, I see it on mine. We'll just update it for the viewer at home. The TVO should update, at least for the viewer here. While we are, though, we're seeing Feather Place, Michelle, and Bradley in a 3-wide battle here.
Yeah, Bradley's really making up some time. And that's what's something that's really cool is with the recent update, the tires actually do wear a little bit more here at road courses. Before, they didn't really wear a whole lot. It's still nothing like what we deal with on oval races, but there is some tire wear that you really do have to kind of keep an eye on as you're running, especially a long run.
Mm-hmm. You will have to indeed. So obviously right there, Michelle making a move on Feather Place. They'll be side by side here, heading down the line. Feather Place will make a good move here, and Michelle will try to over-under.
Yeah, and then battling, that's bringing the 12 and the 51 up to them as well. So it's going to be a 4-car battle here, but that's kind of just what happens when you get side by side. It's going to bring the drivers behind you, kind of bring them closer, so you got to be careful.
While we got this opportunity, I was just about to talk about strategy, and you'll see it right there. John Hagen in the pits lane here. He'll also be joined by Pacey Wygant in that number 18 machine. So both cars are 28, 26, whatever he's filling in for. Both of them in the pit lane at the moment. Obviously, I was just about to ask you, as we do see differing strategies here at road courses where drivers will forgo stage points to try to give themselves a better advantage coming into the next to the stage. So Hagen going to come in a bit early. He will just top off with fuel. No tires he will take. Downside it is obviously he will be in heavy traffic here as he's going to come out P25 just behind Colin McDonough ahead of Tommy Withers. However, at the very least, is when this does cycle out at the end of the stage, he will be the DeFaro leader, deferring if any other car elects to pit. Car way off the road back there. Looks like it was Dale Markowski. It looks like it was Mark DeLayla, as he was, or Deal, I should say, in that 80 Corona machine. He will keep it in the right direction, but overall, very scary moment around here.
Good save there for sure. But yeah, I mean, John Hagen, of course, doesn't really have to worry about stage points. It's the 12 cars coming down pit road as well. So that's one that I do need stage points out of him there. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he's setting it up to win. I get it, but definitely want some stage points for that 12 car.
Yep, obviously you want to help in the constructors battle, as that can be very crucial. As obviously usually last time I was in a booth with a car owner was Carmen in another series, but obviously it's great to see an owner's perspective here and see kind of the mindset as he's kind of perilous here, as he's got to watch his drivers make the calls he needs to make. Back to the lead, we see obviously Navarro and Zach Millett get around Alfred George, as he'll be one of the first cars to go one down. He will also join Marshall Harris in the one down crew.
Yeah, and I think pit road should be closed here with 2 to go in the stage. So yeah, pit road is closed now. I just saw the race control closed pit road, so no one can pit. If they do, they will get a penalty. So everybody that stayed out, they're going to make it to the end of the first stage.
Yep, and that will be the situation here. They will most likely come on in at stage 1, and that will in turn assumedly promote Hagen and the number 12 machine of Jacob Bradley to 1 and 2 respectively. We'll take a look here while we got this opportunity to take a wrap around the field, and we'll see right now who's last driver in on stage points. It's going to be that number 60 machine of David Smeal Jr. Name I haven't seen in a little bit. He's now trying to fear off Steve Tucker, a regular of the series, currently sitting in 11th. Obviously, that 60 usually piloted by, I think, Patrick Oberstadt, and obviously not here tonight, so he's trying to get some good owner's points for Carolina Beagle. Tucker trying to steal a point in that number 24 machine.
Yeah, we have a lot of subs tonight, which is kind of, like I said, it's expected for a road course, but yeah, a lot of new names in the series tonight, and some that have, ran in HTL or ran in ARCS and other aspects. So good to see some new faces out there tonight here at Watkins Glen.
It is a treat to see. But we'll cut back up to the race leader here as he will come off of the last corner here, and he'll start lap number 12. It looks like Feemster's had an incident on the track. That will end the stage here. Stage win will go to Andrew Navarro, Millett, Feather Place, Norman, Michelle, Gaiman, Pressey, Adams, Pannell, and Smeal. Your top 10. Looking real fast. Obviously, that's Kevin Feemster. Whatever happened to him, he's gotten it pointed in the right direction, and no major damage on that made in USA machine. So So we let the leaders catch up to the pace car. We'll take one more, as I just did read off the top 10. We'll actually show it to you one more time here. Just going to pull up the right information here. There we go. So top 10 in the stage, obviously on your screen. Navarro, Millet, Featherplace, Norman, Michelle, Gaiman, Pressey, Adams, Pannell, and Smeal Jr., your top 10. So a first stage caution on the books here. Pit stops are going to be looming. Obviously, I keep proposing these questions to you, Ryan, but you are the one that has more wheel experience than I have ever had in this series in these cars. What on this first pit stop is what are you thinking here? Do you think these cars are going to go for fuel only? You want 4 fresh tires on it? What is your call coming down pit lane here? What do you want to do with it?
Yeah, I think you just get fuel. I mean, 10 laps around here, especially if you weren't pushing really super hard, your tires are probably still fine at this point. I think after that second stage break, that's probably when you'll see some drivers get some fresh tires. But I don't think there's enough laps on your tires to make it worth it. I mean, obviously some people are going to try it, but I think you just get fuel so that you can make it to the stage and you kind of go from there. Obviously with 50% fuel, not sure if they can make it. I did not see what the fuel run was, but it might be close.
We know at the very least they can make it 10 laps, as we clearly seen that. And obviously with stage 2 here coming up, it's going to be the lap 35, so they'll have to make it a little under 25 laps here. So that will be indicative, as that is going to be about a couple laps, 5-6 laps more than what we'll see in the final stage. So obviously a pit stop will most likely loom in stage 2 and stage 3. But the question is, how long can you run on one tank of fuel here? So as field gets fully caught up here, his drivers will slowly move on up through the field here. Should get one extra lap of pacing here. No cars yet to pull down, by the way, as they have not fully gotten caught up. Again, only cars to pit, obviously, is John Hagan, who came in at lap 6, and Jacob Bradley, who came in at lap 7. For their troubles, Hagan is currently sitting in 21st, and Jacob Bradley is sitting in 33rd, respectively. So they will have a long road ahead of them when these cars end up coming in. But at the very least, they will, as long as they can keep their grills clean, cycle out to the lead, the inevitable lead, when all the cars will have to make service.
Yeah, I think their strategy is to just go ahead and plan to pit once here in this second stage, which not really a bad call. Obviously, they're going to be out front if they stay out, which I'm hoping that 12 car stays out. But everybody coming down pit road here up at the front, though.
Everyone except for one. Nicholas Pressey, you see him shooting by on the far side. Alfred George obviously going to try to get the wave around. He will not be able to because of the 94. And then John Hagan will stay out as well. We'll keep an eye on the 12 machine as well in a second. But it is a pit lane. It looks like the 12 had a bit of an incident. Yeah, he's stopped here on the backstretch. No. Odd spot indeed. We'll take a quick look while cars are cycling here. See exactly what may have happened. Is it's a very odd spot to be stopped. So we'll play it out here. I think maybe he was just letting cars go.
Yeah, hopefully he didn't blow a motor. Yeah, it looks like he just kind of pulled over.
Yeah, so it looks like he may just be pulling over to let some cars go. Maybe has to get back in the cycle, so he will just pull over here. We'll get some updates on that soon here, but other than that, no major damage to speak of, and obviously the car is still fired up. He's still there, as this is now back to live action. So we'll have to keep an update on that 12 and see what exactly is going on, but we'll go back to the front. We'll get another lap of pacing. Nicholas Pressey will cycle to the lead as he elected to be the only car not to come in yet in this race. John Hagan will then be P2. Then we see some alternating strategies already beginning to rumble on here. Pacey Wygent also stayed out as well, as he did come in at lap 6. Then Millet, fuel only for the most cars. First car on 4 tires will be our stage 1 winner, Andrew Navarro. He elected to take 4 tires along with Daniel Michelle, as you see them both going through the bus stop right now. So the only 2 in the top 20 to take 4 tires. Everyone else, obviously below top 20, just took the tires because you're far enough back anyway. Let's take the speed advantage where we can get it. But overall, most of the top 20 electing to keep the same tires they had on to start this race.
And it looked like the 12 car, I think he had to wait for the 40 for some reason. I'm not sure why, but he did finally get back going after the 40 got around him. So I don't know why iRacing would have told him that, but hey, he did what he had to do to keep from getting a penalty, and he's got a lot of work ahead of him to get back up front. So just bad luck for the 12 camp in real life and tonight here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, that engine perspired with about 20 to go, 30 to go there, and it must be a heartbreak if you're a Ryan Blaney fan. Obviously, if you're a Bowman fan as well.
That's me.
Yeah, if you're a Bowman fan as well, watching him choke it away was also not a good treat as well. So overall, a bit of an iffy weekend. But if you're a Larson fan, hey, it was all sunshine and rainbows, except if you watch the Xfinity race. But anyway, we got the one to go that time by. Pressey will be leading him to the flag, the New York native. Hagan will be to his outside. Then Wygant, Millett, Featherplace, Norman, Gaiman, Adams, Pannell, and Smeal Jr., your top 10.
Good run by Cody Pannell, old cousin Cody. He never has been a real lover of these road course races, so good to see Cody up there having a good race so far. Hopefully it stays that way.
Hopefully, indeed, but there is a bit of a jinx. He will be the first one knocking on your door. Also, nice of him, The Rock, obviously is Carmen, obviously if she was watching in, hopefully she is, rocking the Atlanta United FC MLS favored scheme there. Obviously, Carmen, a big soccer fan, do care for MLS myself, so it's nice to see a shout-out to the league, even though he is a long way from home with that scheme up in the central New York area here, because it's pretty much New York NYSFC or even Red Bulls territory, depending on how you want to split the apple, no pun intended. So they'll go through the pace laps here, going through the bus stop right now. Control will be on that number 94. Doing a quick race update. All cars that have taken the flag are still in this race. 42 still running. Marshall Harris multiple laps down, but he is still soldiering on, as obviously if cars start having disconnection issues or have mistakes, he could easily capitalize and get some extra points. And sometimes at these road courses, that's all you can really do. You know, maybe you're not the fastest, you may not have the most control. Just let other drivers make mistakes and just try to get a good point stay and bring that car in a comfortable position, because you never know when we get to the cutoff race at Talladega, you do not want to be short 15 points when you could have had a good race here and give yourself more of a chance to fight to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I just heard Seth, his wheel, he's been having wheel issues as well. His wheel just died, and he has dropped out of the race and had technical issues. So not a good day for that 5 car.
And it's been a rough couple weeks. Hopefully the bleeding will stop soon. Pace car going to pull on off. Control will be on that number 94. Green flag is out, and away we go to start stage number 2. Ooh, puff of smoke there.
Oh,
locked up,
turning.
and John Hagan is around.
Oh, John Hagan.
Yep, John Hagan is around. We'll take a look in a second. Ikavazzi around in front of Brian Johnson. Obviously, we're cutting a little back there because we saw some smoke and some 3-wide action, but something has happened towards the front, and that is going to promote Pacey Wygant to the lead. So we'll take a quick look here to see what exactly plagued that number 1 machine.
I think Pressey got him. Just listening to Chad, I think he may have got a.
Ooh, we're gonna go back to live
spinning
action.
again.
Yeah, don't want to go fox the camera angle here as we were about to cut to a replay, and the 00 Wygant mowed through the bus stop there, and you can see right now.
We're wrecking again.
Yep, Millett gonna go through side by side here. Lot to cover here and cover it quickly, and this 68 is around in the back, so we're gonna he gets some contact I think from the 51 of Aiden Norman.
They're wrecking all over the place.
Cars fan out. We will cover this all in just a second here through replays. We want to make sure we don't miss anything else, or we're going to be coming back to it. So coming off the start stage 2 on the first lap, it's going to be Millett who will lead that lap. But now we'll do some homework here and take a look at what happened. So we'll start off on the race restart here, and we'll focus on that number 1 of John Hagan as they fire off here.
Oh, yeah.
Pressey got in the corner panel of the 1, and that spun him around. Then we'll go back a little bit. You can see Ikavazzi gets clept by the 72 of Brian Johnson, and that will be another incident there. We'll go up the road. We'll just keep this a live shot here, as overall it is a interesting shot to see, as we'll cut back up to the Pacey Wygant here in a second, as he's going to have some problems through the bus stop. So again, replay of the first lap incident here. Wygent just going to go too deep, and you're going to see cut to the grass. And 61 to John
Oh,
Hagan. He also spins. Probably
Oh,
right.
got Aiden Norman.
Cody Pannell gets
Cody
in.
was in it.
Yep.
Wow.
Then you'll
Big
see
wreck.
Aiden Norman here. He'll also get a little bit of contact. Steve Tucker will go around. There's a lot of cars here, a lot of big names. Oh!
Yeah. Oh, that's probably race over for 68 and 51.
Yep.
That's a hard hit to that right front suspension, too.
Yeah,
Yep. It broke.
Yep, and that's Aiden Norman's day probably officially done. And that was the chaotic opening lap there as we're back to live action. It looks like we're having a bit of a blinking issue here. We'll see if we can get that situated in a second here. Let iRacing decide to settle. Going behind the curtain for a second. We'll see if we can get this live action again here. Now it's all good, so very odd situation. And back to blinking. Overall,
too many cars.
Too many cars indeed. We'll try to get this going here in just a second, but while we get that running here, we'll let something go on here and see if we can. There's Aiden Norman. He's stationary for a moment. Looks like it's settled out for a second. Oh, back to blinking. All right, we'll hope that holds right now. Right now, Millet, Feather Place, Wygent, Navarro, Adams, Braille, top 6. So obviously that first lap was chaotic, and also my PC was like having the same situation. So we're going to go see what Navarro's doing. Obviously Navarro came in under that stage 2 caution, and he elected to take 4 tires, and he's flexing those 4 tires right now as he's already gotten that number 42 on our screen, 16 on our dashboard here as he's going to make a pass on Pacey Wygent. So we're still dealing with some connection issues here. If things continue, we'll have, if we can do this, we'll have Ryan ready, possibly if he can share his screen, we can have at least some footage here to at least put on the screen, as obviously we're dealing with some issues on my end here. Unclear what's causing it, but we're going to try to keep this going here and keep this broadcast as clean as we can. So as we're on lap 17 to 65, trying to outrun the blinking issue here. It's Millet, Feather Place, Navarro, Adams, Wygent, your top 5. All right, just checking in here again. Obviously, Ryan, you're still there, correct?
Yep, I'm still here.
All right. Yeah, you just in case if you are ready, if you can get your stream up, if you can just share your screen, I can try to overlay something here as the blinking is just getting worse on my end here.
Right.
So while we get that difficulty going here, and thank you everyone putting up with the technical difficulties here. Get that overlaid, and we'll just get something going here.
Thank you, Deb.
I think this way. Looks like at the moment it's still working again here. We're still going to get that lined up here. But right now it's still battle for police position 2 here. Norman, Feather Place. Norman is able to get around here for P2. So we'll have that alt stream going just in case.
Sorry, blaming.
Oh, bigger coming off the final corner. Looks like the 38 involved.
What do you do there, bud? I'm sorry.
All right, we're going to have this almost ready to go.
Are you okay there, buddy? You're pretty hard.
this will work.
Can I get a black clear for not exiting the pits? I got swung. It was a spin into the entrance.
Obviously, that... It has just been a mess here, but we'll persevere. Millet, Navarro, Featherplace, Adams, Wygant working the way here. I think it's finally settled out. Obviously, Nicholas Presti coming in. He has officially made service here. And when it rains, it pours sometimes.
Yep. That's how it is sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So as Presti pits here, he will give up his position. Navarro will be in second place. Obviously, he set a personal best that time by. Obviously, since I've been a little bit covering some of the action here, Ryan, and trying to get some of the technical difficulties to go away, have you seen any battles worth noting here so far on track?
Yeah, I'm watching the 25 and the 29 right now. They've had a pretty good battle here for past couple laps. 25, I think, is just a little bit quicker than the 29, but just can't seem to get around him. He's trying everything he can, though, to make that pass.
Yeah, you can see here as he's trying to get around that 29 Hartford Whalers machine here.
You love to see that 12 car behind him. Man, he is making up some ground out there.
Yes, he is. He's making great pace right now as he is beginning to charge and charge forward. So we'll cut back to our race leader, Zach Millet. Obviously, stage ends on lap 35. Alrighty, I think we almost have it all good to go here. Almost all ready. If everything decides to work here. Keyword hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, sorry again for all the technical issues here. As, again, first time it's ever really happened. So it's kind of one of those things that catches you off guard when they hit.
Yeah, I do know we had a couple cars pitted that lap. I couldn't quite see who it was, but it looks like a few of them are going to kind of pull the same strategy, pit before the stage break to be out front for the last stretch here.
Yep, they will use that opportunity accordingly here.
Shit happens.
All right, we're going to have to do this maybe a little bit scuffed here, but we're going to try to get something on the screen here just so we have something to show the viewers at home here. So I do apologize for the iffy standards going on right now, but we will get this almost all ready, so we'll have that ready to go. So we have that on the screen now, and we'll just get the AT overlay over it as well to give us the information. There we go. So Ryan, you do have control of the cameras now, so we will have some action here, and we will try to make this work. So right now, coming up through the coming into the bus stop right now, looks like we're focusing on the 25 Michelle still here, and Michelle focusing on him in position right now. Currently Michelle, Murciano, and obviously that fill-in driver Ryan Bradley. They are currently in top three. And a bit of a lockup there as well. I think that's Cody Pannell. Check 1, 2. You still there, Ryan? All right, still dealing with some, I guess, tactical difficulties here. It's just gone all wrong here throughout the stage. Still connecting. So, okay. I think it's just been a stream of chaotics, but Ryan, we got his stream on stream right now. Lap 25 of 38.5 going here, and we are continuing on the action here. So, while we get that capture on screen, hopefully.
Like you said, sometimes when it rains, it pours.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got it, the best we'll get for right now just to give action at home. We're focusing on right now what Ryan's controlling. James Kerr, Josh Gaiman, they are battling for position, one of the positions here on the track.
Take me in one.
Oh, Joshua Gaiman. Woo! Gaiman is almost around. He somehow saved it.
Yeah, aggressive battling there as Gaiman's trying to go through the field here and try to push that 61 up forward here. Obviously, there's Cody Pannell. He was involved in that opening incident with on stage 2 there. He's gotten that car still pointing in the right direction, though.
Yeah, that's half the battle, honestly. Sometimes just keep your car clean and be there at the end.
Yep. Pacey Wygant coming in the pit lane here. He will give up his spot on track as he will now be officially in the pit lane here. Still, your race leader is obviously right now Zach Millett, Navarro, Featherplace, Adams, Knowlton, your top 5. A couple of cars have elected to come in to take service. Oh, look at that aggressive push out there by the 75 machine.
Yeah. Oh, St. Jean. Yeah, they are battling, and I don't know if they like each other, but they're not gonna like each other after this race.
Yeah, they will probably not like each other as well. Obviously, Gaiman and St. Jean, they're just fighting hard, tooth and nail for that spot. Obviously, they are battling for 21st on track. So obviously, you're wondering why you're fighting so hard for 21st. But again, every position matters. Every car going to fight, and every car going to want to fight hard to get everything they can get. So up front, there's obviously we're focused on the 12 here of Bradley, who's currently sitting in 7th, if I'm correct, on track.
7th and doing a good job. I mean, looks like I'm hoping that he stays out this time, doesn't pit early. I guess I should have told him that before I came up here in the booth. Like, hey, buddy, I need stage points.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what he does in the 12 car, but hopefully he stays out there.
Yep. Other cars coming in, including obviously Wygant, obviously Delayla, Braille, they've came in. You see here in some of the radio chatter, some other cars in. There is, I think that's Connor Knowlton, if I'm reading the number correctly. Yep, it is the 2 machine. He's in along with, I think that's the 60 of, he's filling in for Patrick Overstad.
Jr.
Yep, thank you. David Smeal Jr., top 10 runner so far. He will come on in. There's Mike LaJoy and Zach Millett. They're side by side here.
Yeah, LaJoy is going a lap down here, and he is in 18th, so we only have 17 cars on the lead lap right now.
Yep, that just shows you how this pit stop window is kind of shaking things up and how fast Zach Millett is going for his own regard.
Here's one I want to point out is, Matthew Kent currently in 8th right now, up 34 spots from where he started.
Yeah, he is
So, great race for Matthew Kent.
up a treat here, and he is showing well as well. Obviously, he is currently sitting in 8th. Obviously, like you said, one of the hardest chargers in the field, along with Matt Verdon. Let's give him his flowers. He's up 30 from where he started as well in that 0-0. Obviously, lap 28, 65 completed so far, and it is stage on 35. Puff of smoke. Looks like it wasn't Kent or the 0-0, so just may have been a car, just kind of previous smoke there as you see Longnecker exit the pit lane. Another car coming in, to Pannell and Kyle St. Jean. They are John, I should say. They are both in, as you'll see on the information there. That is the wrong screen on screen. That's the information we're looking for. There is the 28, 75, 83 all in pit lane. Question is, though, is obviously, Ryan, you've been a little bit more focusing on this race than I have. At the very least, Millet still going strong here. Do you think any of these drivers maybe trying to push it to 35?
You know, I don't know. I don't know if they can make it or not, but obviously getting close to the point where obviously pit road will be closed, you know, with 2 to go in the stage break. So if you are going to pit, you kind of got to do it here in the next couple laps. Otherwise, you're going to be getting a penalty, which would pretty much ruin your race.
Yep, indeed, you are correct. And obviously, it is very hard to come back from going a lap down here, especially at Watkins Glen. It's very hard because of penalty. You'll have to come in for over 45 seconds, depending on the track. That will easily put you 1 down, and it will be a hole that will be very hard to dig out of. So fortune favors the bold. And the question is, do those points matter more for the likes of Millet, Navarro? Obviously, Navarro's part-time, and actually Millet's coming in this time by. Actually, yep, he is, along with Navarro. So Adams presumably will cycle to the lead here at the moment. Obviously, we'll pull up the tracker again. Obviously, it looks like Roberts and Fleming are both in as well, and Jonathan Adams will come in as well. So obviously, pit lane.
I think Daniel Michelle might be the leader now.
We'll see here at the moment. He is followed by Jacob Bradley. Remember, Bradley came in 1 lap later as he had to just come in after waiting for, I think, Alfred's George. So we'll see, is Michelle also in. So now it leaves Bradley at the moment.
He'll stay out 1 more.
Yep, he will stay out 1 more, as he will elect to take the lead here. Obviously, probably making you smile at the moment to see that number 12.
Oh, yeah.
Charging.
Smiling ear to ear.
Ear to ear, indeed.
Not very many times where I get to see the 12 car out front at a road course.
So he'll actually be second as Millet, as you can see on the track.
Yeah,
He'll come out ahead of Jacob Bradley. So right now, Bradley will be P2, Navarro P3. Millet will cycle out basically to the front. Other cars coming in here on some chatter. Ikavatsi, he's coming in. But look at this traffic the 31's going to hit here. As you'll see him on the side shot here. He's going to have the 28 and one of the other cars there. Looks like it's Brent Roberts ahead of him as they both came in around the same time. So he'll have to navigate around them and make sure he does it smoothly and kind of quickly, as he doesn't want to be caught napping here.
Yeah, it sounds like the 12 may be pitting this time. So unfortunately, just not enough fuel in the tank. We'll see if he actually does come down pit road. I think that was him that I heard over the radio. And yep, 12 car is coming in, and the 40 or 16
of Navarro.
And I thought he just pitted.
I believe he did too. Yeah, he did. So maybe he got busted for something here. We'll watch him as he comes down here and see what exactly he does.
Let's see if maybe he has a hold or something. I don't know. That's.
Yep, Steve, unless he's coming in the top off, like try to go something he knows some magic we don't. Yeah, he's coming down with no stop.
Oh, yeah, just drive through.
Yep.
Wow.
So he got something. He got rung up for something. Maybe speeding would have been a drive-through, I believe, not a hold. So looks like he sped or some capacity when he was exiting and had to come back in and just come around. So that's a bit of a mistake for the part-time fill-in driver of Andrew Navarro. So he will luckily still cycle to P4. So it's not be-all, end-all. He'll be able to easily recover, but it's still just a mental error, and he'll have to charge forward to try to get some extra spots. Marshall Harris very slow on the high side
19. There. He needs to tow. That's. Oh, wow, that was close.
Ooh, yeah, that's a dangerous spot to be going slow, and it's just been a rough night for him. He's gotten up to 38th with Hutspelf, Withers, Merchant, Norman, and Wanzing all of this race. But at this point, it may be better just to you don't want to get a penalty. You don't want to risk getting something rung up here, and want to avoid getting the wrath of the steward. So we'll see if he elects to continue on. 3 laps to go in stage number 2. Millet still leading the way. Feather plays with a good drive in second, but he is well over 8 seconds back of Zach Millet. Then we got Adams, Navarro, Pressy, your top 5. So overall, staying out 1 lap, staying out on stage 1 was actually a great call by that number 94 machine, as he is currently still sitting net P5.
Yeah, good run. I mean, Nicholas Pressy, he's one of those drivers that he's very, very talented, but sometimes he lets his own emotions kind of get in his way. So good job for him so far here, not letting that happen, as it looks like the 77 may have been involved in something. I just saw that come up on my screen.
Yep.
So
taking a look at myself right now and seeing what exactly it was. Ikavazzi is pointing in the right direction. I will run myself here, as we'll luckily get the mainstream going here in a second, but overall, yep, he just missed. Oh, he did get some contact with Ethan Wood, minor though, and that will allow, he basically lost it through the bus stop, got tapped by Ethan Wood. Both cars okay and continuing, but that's why you see that big old shunt mark on the front end of Ethan Wood's number 88 machine there. So 2 now to go. Pit lane has been officially will be closed, or at least closed next time by. Worth noting, Andrew Navarro just set the fastest lap of the race, as he is currently behind Ikavazzi and Ethan Wood. Fate you do not usually want to be, especially when you're trying to make inroads here. But just to show you again how consequential that penalty drive-through was, obviously he was only about 3-4 seconds back when the pit stop cycled in. Now he's close to 23 seconds back of our race leader, Zach Millet. But luckily, with stage cautions, that will be negated, so we'll have a chance to regroup and try again. So he just needs to keep that confettied 42 clean here for premier setups and make sure that nose or nothing gets heavily damaged.
Yeah, I mean, he was running. I mean, that last lap, he was almost 3 seconds faster than Jonathan Adams. I mean, he obviously is not saving anything at all. He's trying to make up that time.
Yep, he is going, but the problem is gap to Adams is too big to really wheel down unless Adams makes a mistake. So he'll be presumably net 4, but he's just, again, getting back in rhythm here, because once you make a mistake, you sometimes beat yourself up, you sometimes hold it over your head. He's shown that he's not going to let that happen. He's going to get back on that horse and try again. Zach Millet cutting through the bus stop, should, on the white flag of the stage here, will take the checkered here, bearing any mistakes in about a handful of corners time here as he's going through the dog leg. And we'll have a small roll up here. A couple more turns to go. A little puff of smoke ahead of him. Looks like it was just a lockup. Nothing major to report here.
And it looks like after everybody came down pit road and it kind of, cycled through, it does look like we have about 24 cars on the lead lap now. So that's still, a lot of cars on the lead lap. So a lot of opportunities for, you see there, the 31 actually let Cody by there to get his lap back.
We'll show some respect, maybe a little bit of help here, because obviously not teammates with any car noteworthy there. Bren Roberts will now be the lucky dog instead of Cody Pannell. So Bren Roberts will get his lap back by lucky dog. Cody Pannell will obviously get a little bit of hat tip there. Will pay some respect to Zach Millet. So he will be the first car back on the lead lap here once everything cycles through. But stage 2 completed here, and we'll take a quick look at the top 10 to show you where every driver is at the moment. As we will get that on the screen now. So stage 2 points are as followed. Millet will take the full 10 here. He'll win stage 2. Feather Place will be 2nd. Adams 3rd. Navarro 4th. Pressy 5th. Michelle 6th. Wygent 7th. Connor Knowlton 8th. Josh Game at Night. And Jacob Bradley, hey, he got 10th. He will get at least a stage point for Ryan Pannell's number 12, as that will be the top 10 here.
We'll take it. Anything we can get.
So we should have everything back running. It looks like the blinking has stopped. So we thank you, Ryan, for showing us the perspective there. But we will head back to main live action here from my perspective here. And we will see, obviously, there's Cody Pannell, as he will be the lucky recipient of getting led around by Zach Millet. But Bren Roberts will be the lucky dog. So we'll take this opportunity to reset the field here. We take a look at when everyone last pitted. Millet obviously came in at 29. Brandon Featherplace was the driver that came in at stage number 1's break, and he ended up making it work quite treatly. He'll be coming in. Other noteworthy incidents, Pacey Wydge came in at lap 6, and obviously he was worth noting. He was able to make it all the way through stage number 2 here. So that was give or take about 25 laps of, well, a little less than 25 laps of continuous green flag running. That fuel number is probably sitting in the back of these drivers' minds here. Maybe, again, some driver will try to push it here and see if they can get an extra couple laps here. But as pit lanes officially opened now, you're going to see it is a crowded place. Ooh, Dale Markowski going to wave out to try to get the wave around here. But other than that, though, a lot of lead cars in here and some lap down machines as well. But you see one car staying out. I think it will make you smile as you'll see him go by in the wide shot here. It is going to be Jacob Bradley. He is going to be the leader here when it all cycles through.
Yeah, that's a strategy. We'll see if it works. I mean, obviously he just pitted. Let me take a look. I think his last pit was on lap 30. So really, that's only 5 laps ago. So not a bad strategy, because you almost know that you got to pit once, maybe even twice here in the final stage. So it's a good play to get some track position.
Yeah, it can definitely be a good play, and we'll see if it all works out. Obviously, we saw Pressy. It worked for him, per se. Maybe, again, he did pit the latest at all the cars. He's got the most fuel on board. Maybe he's thinking he can maybe make it to the last lap here, make it to the end of stage 3. It's a long task, but he did stretch it, and we saw, again, Wygent, and we saw the 34 Featherplace come in at 11. Wygent came in at lap 6 when, halfway through stage 1. So it's not out of the blue to assume it could be a hittable number here. So Bradley can keep his nerve. It could be a net positive for that number 12 machine.
Yeah, and that 12 machine needs some good luck. I have not had good luck the past 3 weeks. I got wrecked out at Bristol Dirt and couldn't continue, and same thing at Auto Club. And luckily we clawed our way out of Atlanta. We were 3 laps down at one point and was able to come back and finish 16th somehow. So yeah, it'd be good to see that 12 car get some good luck, and man, if he could win it, that'd be awesome. But I know Zach Millett is he's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, he'll be a hard driver. We saw, again, I don't think we can count out Andrew Navarro. He was setting blistering lap times there. This is basically his reset, and we'll see if he'll be able to capitalize, but he'll have at least 4 cars ahead of him between him and Zach Millett. So while we got this opportunity, we'll take this quick little run over here to remind you that today's race is brought to you by, as we'll pull up the race name here, is the Sticker Robot Rumble at the Glen, presented by KGF Designs. Again, Kevin Young on the main call here. Ryan Pannell graciously joining me here, as he is obviously his 12 was leading the way, as he's not piloting it, but it's great to have him in the booth. We've had some slight technical difficulties in the second stage. Thank you for sticking with us here, as we should be all clear to go to the end here. Fingers crossed for that, both probably green flag racing and broadcast-wise as well. So as they get the 1 to go here this time by, we'll take a look at where everyone cycles at the moment as the pace car lights are officially out. Jacob Bradley, he will be lining up, and it will be him and Zach Millett, row 1. Featherplace Connor Nolan, row 2. Wygent Adams, row 3. Navarro Gaiman, row 4. Pressy Michelle, row 5. Now, obviously, you were keeping an eye on Millett there, Ryan, but is there anyone else? And I was keeping an eye on Navarro. Is there anyone else inside this top 10 or maybe even further back that we should keep an eye on here?
I think Featherplace is going to be consistent. I don't know that he has the speed for Zach or Jacob Bradley. I mean, obviously, Aiden Norman was one that I was watching, but he's done for the day, so some of the hard hitters, some of the road course ringers already having issues. So I still think Zach Millett is just so fast. I think he's going to be hard to beat. But we'll have to see if that number 16/42 of Navarro can make a run at him.
Yeah, he'll have a chance here, but he'll have a king's ransom to try to make it through. Other than that, other drivers, if we're looking at drivers that are in the same kind of bracket in the 111s in that top 10 or even the 110s, we have obviously Jonathan Adams. He set a 111. He was top 5 in obviously stage number 1. Stage 2, I should say, and I think he even got some stage points in stage 1. Daniel Michelle, currently sitting in 10th. He's another driver we always watch at the road courses to be a top 5 runner. So at the moment, he is also showing a good sign of running as well. And don't count out Josh Gaiman, as he's kind of had an up and down stage 2 there. He's able to rebound. He's also inside the top 10. He could also be someone to watch in that 61 Jubby machine. But as pace car gets ready to pull on off here, control will be on that number 12, piloted by Jacob Bradley. So as the pace car that comes off the last corner, will pull on off. We'll get ready to bring this final stage to its starting point. Green flag is officially out, and away we go to start the final stage.
And look by the 12.
Yeah, look at Andrew Navarro. He just jumped the 18. We usually just saw that, and it just made me jump out as he's being aggressive quickly here, as he knows he needs to stay on chase here. See Pacey Wygen, he loses a couple spots. He'll lose one to Adams, and it's long with Navarro. But Jacob Bradley at the moment, he gets a good launch. He will try to set sail here and control the pace, but the rest of the field will have to match.
Hey, can I get a black cleared? I didn't get passed by Josh in time on the cut.
Oh, 34!
Oh, better place around.
Another place. He spins it. He'll save it. Luckily won't hit anything. But the problem is, look how many spots he's lost. He's down to 18th, 19th, 20th. That is a big mistake here to have on the final stage. Luckily, yeah, nothing damage on that machine. If he's got the speed, he'll be able to carve his way back up. But that is an ego buster. And the thing that hurts the most is that now you know you made a mistake. You're going to have that in the back of your mind. You're going to know, okay, I made that mistake in the last corner. What can I do to avoid doing it again?
Yeah, it's one of those things. You just once you make a mistake, it's hard to get back in the rhythm of things.
You are 100% correct. As you can see, a couple puffs of smoke up the road here. A couple cars locking up the road. But up front, it's still top two have pulled heavily away from Andrew Navarro here. Gap about 1.3. And looks like Davey Hawk and Mark Dila have had an incident here. We'll check real fast, see what happened. There's Dila spun around on the first corner entry there. It looks like he's got some minor damage, and you can see also there's a few other cars going by. But overall, though, minor in comparison, as we'll come back to the lead here to see what's heading forward.
Well, the car looks fast. I think the 31's just got a little more speed. He's also got a little bit fresher tires after stopping there at the stage break. So I think he's definitely got a little bit more speed than Bradley, but I know Jacob Bradley's he's a really good driver, and he's not going to just give up.
Yeah, he's definitely here to fight. And this is obviously the conundrum of being a part-time driver. You want to show respect to the cars around you. You want to, not make life miserable for the full-time series regulars. But at the same point, you want to win. So you're kind of walking a tightrope because you don't want to make enemies and ruin someone's season because of you going for the win. But at the same point, a racer instinct is not to roll over and die. We're going to cut back for a second. As we can see, coming up to the bus stop here, it is pandemonium. As we can see, 61 of Gaiman, Adams. Adams lost a couple spots. We're still obviously keeping an eye on the front two as well, as they are beginning to go through the bus stop right now. But it is drivers fighting all over the track here, trying to make moves here. As you can see right there, right now, Michelle holds charge. And you can just see through that bus stop, it is pure just train Zill here. But back up front, Millett's got a run here, trying to get a move on the 12 machine, as he's going to charge through the dog leg here. Thought about making a move, but he's not going to be able to stick it in here, and he is going to have to stick behind that 12 at least for another couple corners.
Yeah, I mean, I really do. I know Jacobs obviously has to pit before everyone else, so it's kind of just waiting to see what happens for the pit stops. But I mean, even if the 31 gets around him, he's got a pretty healthy lead over third right now. So still a good day for Jacob in that 12 car if he can keep it going.
And don't look now. Aiden Norman just set the Andrew Navarro just set the fast lap of this race. Same AN initials, as he has set a 1:10.67 in comparison to the last lap, both in the 1:11, both Bradley and Millett. So Navarro is coming, and he is coming quickly as he's trying to join this top two here and make this a fight for the lead. So Bradley, Millett, Navarro, your top three Connor Nolan with a good run curling in fourth, but he is getting pestered by the 25 of Daniel Michel here. But we're going to stay on this lead back here because I do not want to cut away. Next thing you know, a move happens. So we're going to stay on this race lead on our main stream. I'll be Ryan as well, obviously keeping an eye on some of the other battles a little bit further back. If anything of note happens, we'll cut to it. But we don't want to obviously miss this top 2 battle here, as we'll actually take this opportunity to run on board with the Zach Millett machine here, as we'll see what he's seeing as he go through these corners here. He's trying to just find a run here, but with road course racing, it's very momentum-based. And I think you'll agree with this point, Ryan. You got to set up the corners, entry, and exit. And if you make one mistake, it could be very detrimental. As you see there, up for the bus stop, he doesn't hit his line, and that allows the 12 to get some breathing room.
Yeah, it is a rhythm. I mean, all of these road courses that we run, it's, you know, if you miss one mark, it could screw up 3 or 4 corners. It just puts you out of your rhythm. I mean, it really is just a rhythm type track when we come to places like here at Watkins Glen.
Momentum and rhythm is the key. And now Aiden Norman within a second here, just to show you how far the interval screen is. 2.14 seconds. Does not look like it's 2.14, but it is very close indeed. He is wheeling that thing to the leader, and he is looking to try to make this a challenge here for the top 3 spots. So lap 42 completed of 65. Bradley still leading the way. As you can see, we see here Daniel Michel under pressure from Connor Nolan. We'll cut to that in a second here, as they'll be side by side heading down through turn 1. Bit of a block up by Wygant. Nolan going to make it as smooth as you like. He'll get the job done.
Yeah, good clean pass. I mean, that's hard to do here at these road courses. It really is hard to pass. I mean, you have to kind of set it up almost a whole corner in advance, as now they're side by side again, and they're trying to go 3 wide into the bus stop, which will never work.
It never works indeed. We'll keep an eye on that. Michelle goes a little bit deep there. Obviously, we're calling 2 actions at once here. Still got the lead on the screen. Michelle, Wygant, double going to wide. Wygant going to lose a couple spots here. As you'll see there, he'll fall a couple back now on the live screen. You can see he'll switch over under, try to get a move on Pressy. But as the 12 still leading the way, Jacob Bradley, Millett, Navarro, they are all under a blanket here. I keep proposing you questions, Ryan, but I always love to pick the head of a driver when they come into the booth. I do like to ask, in these pressure situations, what do you like to be on the radio here? Do you like it to be quiet? Do you like to have maybe joke around, make some comments? What's your mindset when you're in these tight battles here? What do you like from radio communication, as we know these drivers have team chats they can rely on?
Yeah, I know that our team chat, usually especially if it's green flag racing, we're usually pretty quiet. We don't like a lot of communication. We'll joke around a little bit under cautions and stuff like that, but no, if I had to bet right now, Presidential Racing chat is probably very, very quiet, as Zach Millett is there up under the 12.
Yeah, Millett's going to have a run here on the inside. You can see right there. You can also see, look at Andrew Navarro there. He got lurking here. How defensive will Bradley be? Will he fight for his life here? Coming through the corner. He's going to be on the fender here. Still not going away like a bad rash, but Millett going to get the job done. Put Zach Millett to the lead, and now he'll have at least a buffer car between him and Andrew Navarro. Now Navarro going to try to make it as quick as you dare, as they're going to head off into 1. He'll be on the low side here. And I think he's going to be aggressive here on the brakes, just trying what he wants to do. As you see the 12 drift way wide, and Navarro will make it as quick as you dare. So Bradley now down the 3rd, still in a very good spot in that number 12. Very healthy distance to 4th place, and Daniel Michel, who's about 10 seconds behind this top 3. So it has worked out a treat for that 12. But he's thinking in the back of his mind now, if I don't have the raw pace to beat these top 2, what can I do to get around them?
Yeah, I think he's got to think about, his fuel window. When does that open? And I think as soon as that fuel window opens, he's got to come down, take tires, get 4 fresh tires, and fill that thing up. And at this point, like you said, I mean, he's 10 seconds ahead of 4th, so he can come down pit road and honestly will still probably come out, maybe mid-teens, 20th, something like that, and just kind of set himself up to focus and get to the end of the race and try and get a good finish.
Yep, coming to 20 laps to go. I think we're shaped up for a great one here in this top two. Obviously, Bradley presumably will have to come in unless he can think he can find some extra fuel in that machine. One car on pit lane at the moment. It's Dale Markowski. He is obviously was one of the last cars on lead lap. He will now officially go one down as he now leaves the pit lane. It's been a race to get for Dale. It's also a bit of a rough start to him this season, but obviously with still a long calendar to go, he's looking to at least try to get back on the horse and try again, like a lot of other drivers are trying to do in these opening rounds. But look at that top two, just to show you kind of the level they're in. Again, I don't want to insult Bradley. He's a strong driver. He was able to keep that car ahead of Millet and Navarro for many laps, but they have put well over 1.2 seconds ahead of him. And I think that's something that kind of helps it is Navarro's got four fresh tires on that thing. Zach Millet took fuel only on his stage caution break there. So he's got the worst tire wear you could say out of the three, but that's not hurting that Team Conti machine all that much.
Yeah, no, I mean, Zach's really good at saving tires and fuel, so he knows what he has to do to make that car fast. So it doesn't surprise me at all. I'm kind of curious. Obviously, they pretty much everyone other than Jacob Bradley pitted on lap 35. I don't see that they can make it to the end on fuel, so I really do think everyone has to make another pit stop, but it's just going to be interesting to see when do people start coming down pit road, and do they take tires? Do they only take fuel? That's going to be a good thing to watch.
Yeah, it will definitely be a thing to watch indeed as we got 19 laps to go here. I think I would agree with you, but then I'm reminded of Wygen, who made it to 6, or Feather Place that went from 11. Obviously, they had a stage caution to give themselves an extra lap or two, but that's still a big reach. But one car that's now officially in, 5th place, Jonathan Adams. You see here through the satellite dishes, he is now in his Castlevania machine, so he'll be the first of the top 10 to elect to pit here, as we got 19 laps to the finish. We'll take this opportunity to step to another battle. We'll keep an eye on this top two here. Josh Gaiman, Nicholas Pressey, and David Smeal Jr. and Connor Knowlton as well, battling for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And you can see it is a fight, and look at the distance. Brandon Featherplace as well in 9th. He's trying to get back up to a top 5.
Yeah, good recovery from him after he spun, and then just the ability to get back going, and he had dropped back to almost 18th there for a little bit, so already back up to 9th. He's got a fast hot rod.
Yeah, he's got a fast hot rod indeed. As he locks up just a bit there, Connor Knowlton, that could allow the 61 to have a run on him coming up through the zone. No other cars, and actually I think Jonathan Adams with a longer scheduled stop. It was unscheduled for the 8 machine, so he must have had some damage somewhere, still on pit lane. So it's a shame. Adams having a great run, and you can see it sometimes. It just, you roll snake eyes and the effects that can have. Back up front, we have a battle for the lead. They split a lap car here, and it looks like Andrew Navarro is going to make it as smooth as you like here. And he's going to go around as they split that Black Acid Racing machine. We'll take a look here, and maybe in a second, just to see what exactly happened as we see the move happen here. So we're just going to quickly take it back here because we did miss just slightly here. Just want to see if they, yep, simple move there as we play it back here on replay. Navarro, he tried to get around the 11 of Brian Rupert. He timed it wrong. He got held up just enough, and momentum is a treat around these tracks, and it allowed Andrew Navarro to get around here. So one slight mistake there by Millet being over-aggressive on a lap car, and it's cost him to go down to 2nd place.
Yep, and that's all it takes, just a little bit, whether you have to get out of the gas or, maybe even hit the brakes a little bit, it can completely ruin, your next setup for the next 2 or 3 corners. So good pass by Andrew. He kind of took advantage of that lap car and made that pass, and now it looks like he's pulling away just a little bit. So now if you're Zach Millet and you do have to pit, you got to think like, man, maybe I need to take tires, because he didn't take tires the last time. Those tires are probably hurting a little bit.
They are, but I feel like at the same point, if you don't think Norman's going to take, Navarro's going to take tires, I think you got to take what you can give. But we're going to find
There's
out
that.
now. 31 in. We're going to keep an eye on him. We're going to stay live with him. So we'll pull up his pit data here as we're going to watch him here. We're going to watch the clock. 2, 4, or nothing. If he thinks Navarro's not going to take anything, he's going to have to match that. He can't afford to take 4. The deficit will be too great, and he's running about similar lap times to Navarro. He will probably make no real inroads. In his box now, what will the hometown driver do? 4 seconds, 6 seconds, 6 seconds, fuel only. He will come out. One caveat, though, is he'll be just behind De La, as he will have to try to quickly get around him, and he will also be in some lap traffic, and he is now getting a bit antsy. As you can see, going to get around that 80 machine, but now he's going to have some traffic in front of him. He's going to have to quickly navigate around and make sure he doesn't allow that interval to grow too great to that 16 machine.
Yeah, the 16 now pretty much in a clean racetrack, so it's a huge difference from where the 16's riding versus where Zach Millett, being in traffic.
As he will cover this off here, he is coming down pit lane now along with Jacob Bradley. They are both in, and they will both pit here. So now the question is, will they take 2? Will they take 4? Will they take nothing? And what will that slow little hold up there coming on the exit lap and that traffic hurt Zach Millett here? So we're going to keep it live shot again. Watch both cars hit their pit boxes here, and we'll see what their timers is.
39 minutes.
Navarro obviously took 4 on his last 2 stage cautions. He's got the set. Looks like the 12 is at least taken 2, and he will take 2, and it looks like he'll take 4, but Navarro will not take anything. He will also lead the way, and look, it's side-by-side coming off of exit, but there will be just enough cushion. Navarro will keep the lead, as you see Zach Millett there in second, trying to quickly get around that SRD machine of Riley Riccio. But right now, Millett just couldn't get the inroad he needed, and he'll have to be P2 here, and now he'll have to try to hunt down that 16 machine and try to make something happen here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's just hoping that some of these lap cars kind of get in the way. Not even lap cars, actually lead lap cars, as they're, now have to go back through the field as some of these drivers have not pitted. So, yeah, Zach Millett's hoping that some of these cars hold up that 16. And also the 16 was running really hard there. I mean, we said he was running some of the fastest lap times of the day. He could have used up some of his tires, and I think Zach Millett is he's gonna be there at the end of this thing.
It's going to all come down to traffic and how you catch it. Feather Place and Gaiman both in. They will relinquish 3rd and 4th respectively. Looking at Millett right there. He's making a big move there to get around the lap car. He wants that spot. He knows he needs to stay in rhythm. He'll get around Mike LaJoy. Every car Navarro can get around, he sends him back to Millett. Like sending trash in Tetris lines, basically. You're trying to make it so it's harder and harder for the car behind you to catch up, and you may be onto something. Look at that run he's got. He can't get behind David Wright here, and that's going to give Millett a chance.
He's there. Yep.
He is there. Side by side, one lap car hurt him. This time they'll have a chance. Coming through the bus stop, he won't be able to do it because of Wright, but he has closed up that gap. And look at that, he's sliding through the bus stop there. He'll lose some time. All that time he just gained, he just lost. However, at the very least, he shows that he's got some speed here to make something happen.
Oh, yeah, he definitely got speed. I think what he was doing on that first run, he was just saving his stuff a little bit, and I think the 16 was really pushing hard. So I think the tire advantage right now goes to the 31.
Yeah, that's going to at least give 31. I do worry maybe he over-roasted the stuff there a little, because obviously tire temperatures matter in these cars, and he may have kind of overcooked them just a bit. He'll have to maybe spend a lap here cooling them down. We'll see if that has any effect because of that little drift he did through the bus stop. But we see Daniel Michel, obviously, through timing boards. He has come in. That means right now our race leader is Steve Tucker. He's only about 2 seconds up the road, though, so if he is trying to do the stay-out strategy to win, it's probably not going to come up roses for him at the moment. But he's still, at the very least, leading this race, at least for the time being, as you'll see Navarro and Millett both join him shortly. Mike LaJoy, obviously in 4th, is yet to make a pit stop. Then Jacob Bradley will cycle through P3 at the moment, as he's got a 6-second gap over Brandon Featherplace, who's currently in P4. Other cars coming in, Vordon, Kent, Feemster, and Roberts. Connor Knowlton sets a personal best in Sector 1. But looking up the road here, you're going to see they're going to have Steve Tucker. He has no real issues. We'll ride on board here with Navarro, and Tucker will actually come in. So that will be race lead handed over to Navarro. But Dixon and Fleming are just up the road here, and they could be a bit of a thorn in the side for the 42 because I don't know if you can answer this for me or not, Ryan, as you obviously have a different view here, but is there any other traffic possibly on the horizon here besides those 2 lap cars?
Yeah, it looks like just those 2 for now, but obviously, you know, some of the lap cars probably have some damage. I do see a couple other cars up there in front of them, so yeah, this definitely could affect the race and how, you know, can the 31 get past these lap cars better than the 16 does.
Yep, we got 2 cars ahead here and 2 that. You can see right there the 03 at Dixon's going to get out of the way. Obviously, if teammate there is obviously Millet and the 03 are teammates, you would hope Dixon would have held up that car a little bit more, but sometimes you can't hold up a rocket and expect to make it through one piece. Other than that, though, you have 2 other cars. Actually, 3 cars ahead of this 1 car is riding on board with Millet. Next car is obviously Chris Fleming, our 500 winner. So he is at the moment. Look at this holdup it's had. It's allowed Millet to get a good run here. 1 car will pull off. That's Kevin Feemster. So 1 less car that Navarro will have to deal with. But 12 laps to go at the moment. It is Navarro and Millet here. And if I'm Millet as Fleming locks up, I think I got to take this opportunity and run with it because traffic seems to be the only thing that allows me to close the gap this much. I got to be on it and make the move if traffic holds up that 42 anymore.
Yeah, and he's right there. I mean, he's in the perfect spot to be able to make that pass if he does get slowed up. Honestly, I think he wants to pass him before they even get to the lap traffic. He is doing everything he can. You got 2 cars in front of them. Hopefully they don't get in the way too much, but Zach Millet, I think this is going to be a good race.
It's going to be shaping for 1. Brian Rupert here obviously was the car that kind of gave the trouble to Millet as it held him up. Looks like it won't do much the same here. He will proceed out of the way, and that leaves 1 car here. That's David Hawk, I should say. He will be the last car, at least for the foreseeable future, to be in front of that Andrew Navarro here. So depending on how it plays, this could be the thing that maybe gives some reprieve for that Toyota driver. And Millet just hits the wall a little bit. Doesn't really affect the speed, but that's going to affect the exit speed. And that could give the cushion Navarro needs. 10 laps to go here. We're going to be following this top 2 to the finish, as this is going to shape up to one of those good old road course finishes. We're glad you're here. You can join us here on ABN Studios and playing through to the end. All the viewers, thank you for joining us, and hopefully you'll tune us here next week as well, as we'll be at Texas. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got 10 laps and a great finish shaping up here, and if something were to happen, we have Jacob Bradley. He's well away, but if 2 incidents happen, we'll see here. There's Jacob Bradley coming up through the S's. He's in 3rd. Brandon Featherplace there in 4th, now going through the S's, and Daniel Michelle in 5th. So overall, 2 Bowie Esport cars in the top 5, 1 Presidential Racing Machine, and the rest file in sort. So we'll see how this all shakes up.
Yeah, I still think Zach's maybe just saving a little bit. I don't know. I know that the top 3 right now obviously are running the fastest lap times out there, all running right around 1:11.5s. Zach Millet at 1:11.9, just because he got into the wall a little bit there, I think, on that last lap. So, but they got 2 more cars in front of them. So,
yep, 17 at Kevin Feemster here. Not going to play too much of a factor here. He'll get out of the way. Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, the other car here. After that, again, we'll cut on the Navarro real fast here just to see if there's anyone up the road here. At the moment, I'm not seeing anyone of note. Yeah, at least from up to the bus stop here to the bus stop, it is only Cheeseburger Lawrence that sits in front of him, which again could be what Navarro needs, because looking at last time by, out of the top 5, fastest car on the track was Zach Millet. Look at that run. Ooh, Navarro a little loose.
Oh, he's going to make... Oh, Zach Millet's there.
Zach Millet is there. You are correct, Ryan, but Millet almost loses it himself, and that is going to be the save that he needs. That was the opening Millet needed, and the car just did not stay planted. and Navarro can breathe at least a sigh of relief for a moment. However, he is vulnerable, it seems, as Millet is finding those opportunities to get around him. And look at this run, driving as hard as he can. He'll use the wall to make a turn. 8 laps to go here. It is top 2, again, watching on the screen. They are going to fight tooth and nail for that checkered flag here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, this is where, as a team owner, I'm kind of hoping these two wreck each other, and Jacob Bradley makes his way past both of them. But I mean, it's not out of the question. I think they're going to battle really hard till here all the way till the end.
We saw Bradley. Bradley has good speed. If they were to lose a lot of time coming to blows, even if they didn't fully wreck, Bradley can hold his own. He's definitely shown he can stay close. So that could be the thing he needs. He's obviously took 4 tires under the caution, elected to take, under the green flag pit stop, I should say. He wanted the fresh tires, so theoretically, if he can get closer, he could be under threat, but he's going to need some help here to make that a reality, whether caution or 2 drivers pushing each other to the absolute brink. So Navarro, Millet, Bradley, Feather Place, Michelle, as we will hear 7 laps to go here. Still a long way with this track being so big, and look at that bad exit Navarro got. That's going to open the door slightly for Millet, a little bit too far back, but that's going to give him at least a 10th. That time by Navarro was faster by 2 tenths over Millet, so Navarro is slowly winning the battle here, but he's still got plenty of time left before the war can be completed.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, 7 laps here is a lot of time for both of these drivers, honestly, to make a mistake. So right now they've both been pretty good. No real huge mistakes as they're going to be coming up on a lap car here. But just great racing by these front 2.
Yeah, we're going to go back on board with the 31 here. I think it's the 00. We're just going to make sure real fast it is. Yep, it's the 00 of Matt Bourdon. And looking up the road again, I do see one more car. They should theoretically catch here before the end of it, but he's, I think, going right now through the last corner as we speak, so it is a healthy distance. But with the speed they are running, you can see that even if you're running decent times, they will catch you before too long. It's almost like the cars that are lapped down right now are pretty much the cars that have lost the draft at a super speedway. 6 laps to go. It is going to be, again, I keep saying it's going to be a good finish. The question is Millet playing a bit of possum, or is he just really just pushing as hard as he can? We'll find out those answers soon enough.
He was about a 10th quicker than Navarro that lap, so was able to close the gap just a little bit. Now we have to see, does the 00 stay in the way, or does he kind of pull over here? This is a bad place to catch a lap car going into the bus stop.
You are correct. He will not be able to make a move here. He's going to have to sit behind. That could be the opening. Look at Millet. He's basically changing the gears of that Navarro machine. Inside Navarro will go. Millet, look at that on the corner panel.
Oh,
Just can't get a fender in. He'll drive it as deep as he'll basically be following the tire tracks of that machine, and he'll have a chance at a run here. He's going to do it. He's going to go low. Not close enough. He'll tuck back in line. Does not want to risk it here. He's got 5 more laps and well over, give or take 5 miles at the very least, maybe even a little bit closer to 6, to make something happen here. Good run down the straight. I think I see a move going into 1. 5 laps to go.
yeah. I think he just wants to be there. You know, I mean, because you don't really want to be the leader because you're at the mercy of the guy behind you. So if that guy drives through you and moves you out of the way, you really can't do anything. So I think Zach's just, he almost hit that wall, but he's just trying to stay there in second.
Yep, they will, I think, at the very least, catch 2 more cars. I saw something through one of those shots. We'll see if we get a decent look here, but they may have 2 more cars that could open the door for Zach Millet here. I think he's got the speed, but they're basically running dead even times. You got to either hope that 42 makes a mistake or at the very least capitalize to make something happen. As they come down the line here right now, it is still advantage Andrew Navarro.
Tell you what, Zach Millet is so good in the bus stop. I mean, he closes almost every lap that he goes through the bus stop. He closes like a 1/10 to 2/10 on Navarro. He's been really good through the bus stop.
Yeah, he has. That has been the part of the track that has played him quite nicely. 4 laps to go. It is Dale Markowski, the lap car they look poised to catch here. Markowski and then a white machine here. And there's actually a couple more. So this...
Yeah, a few more up there.
Yeah, there is some traffic. But again, 4 laps is not a long time around Watkins Glen, but not a long time. Those may be just far enough away they won't catch. For sure, they at the very least will catch Markowski. As good exit there by Navarro coming through to the bus stop here. The moment Navarro is doing what he needs to do, but Millet not going away. Look at that entry and exit. You can see
bus stop. Yeah, he is so good in the bus stop. Wow.
And that's the thing that kind of stinks. If you're the lead car through the bus stop, it helps you grow a distance. But when there's someone ahead of you, you can only go so far and really run it as so deep as you can. And you can see the effects that has. As he just has to check up just enough to give him a not a good enough run. Because if he was, again, if Millet was ahead, he could use that to his advantage and pull some distance. But as they come off the last corner here, we are going to have 3 laps to go. Jeremy Braille is the other car. Markowski going to pull out of the way. He does not want to impede this battle. And that is going to be probably for the best here. Next car will be Braille if they catch him, depending on how it plays. And look how deep Millet takes it. He's just going to go a little too deep, and that's going to allow Navarro a good run here up through the S's.
Yeah, but going into the bus stop, you'll see that Zach Millet, and I think as we get closer to that white flag, he's just going to send it even further and further into this bus stop.
We'll pull up the data here, at least for Millet here, just see how much he's throwing it in here. Going well over 110 mph, going on to the apex, about 110 on exit, so he is just trying whatever he can do, carry as much speed as he can through that bus stop. Worth noting, last time by advantage was Navarro. They did a 1:1:45, Millet a 1:1:48. So they are running dead even lap times as they will see 2 to go in a couple corners.
And they're going to catch Matthew Kent here pretty soon, and then they'll probably get to Jeremy. He's running about 1:13. Actually, there's 4 cars in front of them now.
And I think some of them are battling for position. Yeah, Braille, and Pannell, and McDonough are all fighting for position, so they have no reason to impede. They are going to fight because obviously they're fighting for every point they need. As you can see right there, one of those cars going low. That's Chris Fleming going another down. So Fleming will be the first one they will catch here. At the very least, they'll probably catch Kent after that. And this is a bad spot to catch lap traffic. As you can see right there, I think even almost gave the hook. You can see, I think Millet almost shunted or basically impeded Fleming out of the way there. As he just had to try to do something. You cannot allow him to drive away. And there's 3 cars ahead. This is going to give Millet probably his best chance here through the bus stop.
Oh, yeah, he's there.
Oh, look at that. He's going to go middle groove here. Going to maybe try to do the switcheroo here. Kent will get out of the way, will not impede. 2 cars, the 77 Ikavazzi, Jeremy Braille, and Elliott Longenecker will be the next 3 on the road here. Navarro can't get a fender in. He's going to go just a tiny bit deep. As they come off the last corner, they will see the white flag, this time by how aggressive will Millet be? I think he's got to try something here. We're coming to the white flag. Thing is, the 42 of Navarro will get some draft here, going off into 1. Ikavazzi will get moved out of the way. Jeremy Bray will also pull out of the way as well, meaning only Longenecker's up the road there. And after that, it will be no more traffic coming to the flag.
Yeah, this is going to be huge because they're going to catch Elliott right here in the bus stop.
Now we know
Elliott's going to go, yeah, he's going to stay high. Good move.
Good move, does not want to impede this. Obviously, the bus stop's the best spot for Millet. Can he do anything going through the bus stop right now? He's going to have to try to set himself up for a good run here. Hang it all out. You can see
he got
him.
it. Oh, little contact.
Can he make it stick? He's going to try to get him loose to get a fender in. He's on the inside. The car is sliding, and he just can't hang it.
Oh, he loses it.
Millet tried whatever he could do, and it was not enough. You saw the move. You saw the desperation. He had to go for something, and obviously he played it fair and respectfully, but obviously just not enough. He was on the edge, and it fell off the edge there. And as they come across the stripe here, Andrew Navarro hangs on, survives the charge, and he will find victory here at Watkins Glen. Navarro takes home first place. Zach Millet will still come home for second as he's 8 seconds still clear of Jacob Bradley. And then Jacob Bradley, well clear of Daniel Michel, will presumably come home in third. But that was an exciting finish, to say the least. Millet tried whatever he could do. He was putting body blows. He was putting body shots. He was trying whatever he could do. But at the end, he's made a slight slip-up coming to the line there, and it allowed Navarro the chance to finish off the kill there. So Andrew Navarro, your race winner, as he'll get some congratulatories up the hill. Jacob Bradley just crossed the line. He will now take the last step of the podium. But for being a fill-in driver, Andrew Navarro came in and he put up a great result here. After that penalty he got down pit lane, which we'll hear what exactly was the cause of that in the post-race interview, so do not go anywhere. But we'll find out what exactly happened. But you can just say, you got to keep your head down. You got to keep persevering. And Andrew Navarro showed why he is taking the checker flag here tonight.
Congrats on the win, Andrew.
So there'll be a bit of time before we get to the burnout here. So while we have this opportunity, Ryan, your thoughts on what we just saw there?
Wow, amazing. I mean, you knew Zach Millet. He was pushing it. He was, we knew his bus stop was definitely the place where he was making up the most time, and he sent it in there, and he had a good position, but I think he just, he had to push it well past what he really wanted to do, and the car just couldn't quite hold the grip, and just spun it out. He knew that he had enough time behind him to do that, and he didn't wreck Andrew. So, good move by Zach Millet. He's always a stand-up racer, so I wouldn't expect anything less from him. But yeah, just a awesome finish.
Yep. So there's your race winner. He's doing a very not much spinning, just letting the engine run there on the inside wall, right next to the Coke banner there, as he's going to basically probably burn it out here and give a nice little smoke show to the audience, even though usually I think they go the opposite way there to the opposite wall, so the smoke, blows with the wind instead of the opposite way. But being maybe a bit eco-friendly here, not wanting to smoke the virtual fans here. So is Andrew Navarro finishing up his burnout here? Going to give him a couple more seconds to finish that up. As we let the top three begin to file in here, let them all join. We'll hear from all three in a minute. We will presumably go race winner 1, 2, 3 here, as Navarro is almost ready. Bradley also filing in. So we will get on ready here and start our interview process, and we will hear from the race winner, Andrew Navarro here. Andrew, this is Kevin, the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Obviously, a very eventful race there. You bring home the victory, and obviously you were a fast car out there. But obviously, we got to start with the beginning before we can get to all the exciting action we saw at the end. So, looking at, I guess, qualifying to say the least, you qualified quite well. Obviously, took the pole position. It seemed like that thing was on rails. So, I'm assuming road course is definitely a strong suit of yourself. But how did that car feel out there? Did it feel very planted?
I had actually never driven the next gen on a road course before, so it was very different. So my first laps were literally in the practice session. I mean, I guess the car does feel planted for next-gen standards, but compared to like a truck or an Xfinity car, this thing feels like it's all over the place, which I think played into the raceability at the end there, because me and Zach were brawling, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to watch up here, as it was pure chaos up there. Moving further on, we saw obviously stage one. You hung on, you got stage one win. Stage two, though, we saw you come down pit lane, and then we saw you have to come and do a drive-through. What exactly caused that to happen? Did you get busted for speeding? Something else happened? What caused the drive-through you had to serve?
I got a unsafe pit exit. I was trying to follow Zach out of the pits and keep the gap close, because I think I could have passed him, especially on newer tires. And then when I came out, it just had a massive, oversteer, and I just went completely over the line. I thought I wasn't going to get busted for it for a second, and then up the hill, they gave me the black flag. So I just took the drive-through. Luckily, it wasn't a stop and go, because or not, I would have been restarting like 15th there on the last stage, and then I would have been really been in trouble. But yeah, unfortunate.
Speaking further on, obviously, with that restart, good fortune favored you. You started, I think, P5 or P6, and we were talking about how you were going to have to make up a lot of spots and make them up quickly. And, well, you definitely made it happen. We saw how aggressive you were on the launch. So I think the kind of go for that point there on that opening restart, were you just basically saying, I'm going aggressive, I'm getting towards the front, I don't care what happens? or knowing the lap counter left, you're like, I can close that gap at a pace I need to pace. I'm just gonna do what I need to do. So were you being just aggressive to get there as quick as you can, or were you thinking maybe let's play it a little laxatious to ensure I don't wreck anyone?
Yeah, I just wanted to. I was definitely thinking about going aggressive, but then I looked at the laps and I was looking at the pace that I had in stage two. So I was kind of gonna play it conservatively. I at least wanted to get one row forward on the restart, which I did into turn one. Um, but after that, I was like, okay, I'll take it more aggressively, and I'll save my tires because I didn't want to take tires on the last stop. And then Zach and Bradley were like so much quicker. And I was like, oh no, I got to go way aggressive. So I started having to make moves, probably where I didn't want to on a few people. I think there was two drivers. I don't think I made any contact with them, but it's definitely one of those things I didn't want to dive bomb them, and I had to because they're not. I would have never been in touch with Zach. And then that second run, I was just trying to manage the pace. I started getting, like I said, it was my first race in the next gen. I would say like stage three, I was completely comfortable. Like if I had 100 hours in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Zach also got better though. That was what that's what was bad for me because once I got in front of him, I was like, oh crap, he's matching my lap times. So I was really trying to push it and failed miserably. And we were all over each other, and it was a lot of fun. We were going through the grass and stuff.
Yeah, speaking of that final battle there, obviously you came in one lap earlier to try to cut him off. You came out with the lead. You knew you're going to have to hang on. So you were obviously talking a little bit there, but anything else you want to add on your battle there with Zach Milt there? It was just fun to watch. Every time you took a slug, he took one back, and it looked like the lap traffic may have been a kryptonite to you, but you were still hanging on. So any other thoughts you want to add with your battle there with Zach Milt over those last 15 laps?
Yeah, it was definitely the traffic hurt me, but you also got to realize like roles were reversed beforehand before I got the lead, with him, being affected by traffic. So I don't really think that was a big deal. I think he was a little bit better than me when I was going through traffic. I don't know if I was just playing it too conservatively. I didn't want to run into the back of anybody, and he would close up a lot on me, but he also would close up and he raced me cleanly. So props to him. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun battle to watch there. Moving further on, obviously not sure because obviously you are part-time entry. We're not sure 100% if you continue on. But overall, I guess we'll talk about your ARCS A Square experience tonight. Did you have fun there out tonight? And did you enjoy yourself, I guess you can say?
Yeah, I enjoyed myself. I hadn't ran a league race in probably a year or so. So definitely, I like the organization of everything. Whereas past leagues I've been in have all been a little chaotic, but it was very thorough with the drivers' meeting. They got everything we need to know out of the way, and looks like a really good league. I might have to look into it for next season.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, if you do end up getting up, an opportunity opens up, who knows? You may be someone that definitely would be a hot commodity to have. But anyway, we got to the point. Does anyone want to thank family, friends, sponsors, whatever? The floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Premier Racing Setups, Ed for letting me drive. That was an interesting race. I think he's got a few people on his car, 180 Flood Street or roofing. But yeah, big shout out to him.
Big shout out indeed. So it's been great talking, Andrew. Hopefully, again, if we can see you come in one more time throughout the year. But if not, you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
And that was our race winner, Andrew Navarro. And that will usually be the part where we'll pivot to Ryan will take Zach Millett. But since I think he'd be more inclined to want to talk to his driver that filled into his car, we'll hunt down Zach Millett first, and then we'll let him take Jacob Bradley. But Zach now filing in now. Zach, this is Kevin at the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, man?
Great talking to you as well. Obviously, you had a very eventful race as well. But again, we'll have to start at the beginning. Again, you were a driver that I know had this race circled, obviously, as it being a home race per se for you. Did that put any extra pressure on you wanting to try to win in front of the virtual faithful?
Yeah, you always want to win at your home track. It was just kind of lucky how the only Sunday I've had off this entire month was this one. So I hate not making these A squared races because, I mean, they're always like this. They're always great competition, great fun. And, yeah, it was just complete luck on this part to have the Sunday with Watkins Glen. I was kind of pumped to be able to run it.
And obviously, it was great seeing you out on the track. Obviously, stage one, you had a good done. And then stage two, we saw you just kind of pull away there and make kind of moves here. But we saw maybe some linkerings of Andrew Navarro, a few of the cars kind of challenging you. So, kind of through those first two stages, when you were firing off, obviously, in the final stage in a good spot, who did you think your main threat was out there? Who, before the final stage, who did you have most circled as the main threat to try to challenge you for the win?
Oh, man, there's a bunch of them, but I mean, the main one has to be Andrew. I mean, he was absolutely lights out tonight. He had pace from the start to the run to the end of the run. I mean, he's just 7,300 I rating doesn't come easy, and he proved why he has it. He ripped, and I tell you, that was the most fun racing I've had, I think, on the service, and I've been on the service a long time. I mean, we were just kind of pushing each other, sliding all over the place, and yeah, the end of that race, man, I tried everything I could to just send it in there, and oh man, hella fun.
Yeah, it was fun to watch indeed. Speaking of, we obviously got to talk about the lap traffic incident. Obviously, you were ahead, and then we saw you get held up a little bit by battles there as you tried to make a move. What exactly happened? Because we did watch the replay. I'm assuming you just tried to go low, time it wrong, or did you think he was going to move? What exactly caused that opening that allowed Navarro to get around?
Yeah, it was just a really bad spot, really bad timing. I think battles would have got out of the way if it was just a different spot, because you naturally kind of float off the carousel. But I didn't know if maybe he didn't see us coming, or just, I don't know, we came up on him that fast. But as we come out, with the pace up over the curb and on the outside of the track, really, you're just carrying so much speed. And where I caught him, I either had to shoot through the grass, and once you get in the grass and these things, you're just along for the ride, or just shoot right, because I knew there was some space there. And he kind of, when I shot right, I think he was looking in his mirror, and he kind of went right to give me room, and we just kind of made contact there. I was very fortunate not to get damaged, because that would have probably killed my chances there. But yeah, once I let Andrew by there, I don't know, it was all the power gone right there. I tried to keep up with him for a lap, and I figured, well, short pit, I'm in the window, maybe I'll throw him off a little bit, and hopefully he gets stuck in traffic when he comes out. But didn't really pan out. We came up pretty close to each other.
Yeah, you came out. Obviously, we were following that. And again, maybe that exit traffic played just enough of a factor. And then it was game on. And we were sitting here watching those last 15 laps. You were back and forthing. Ryan kind of noted you seemed to be faster in the bus stop. And you just couldn't really get done. So take us through those last 10, 15 laps from your perspective there with your battle with Navarro there. And in turn, that last lap, we saw you get to that bus stop, try something, and the car just didn't want to stick. So take it through those last 10 to 15 laps from your perspective with your battle with Navarro.
Yeah, I tell you, he was actually faster than me through the bus stop the majority of the race. And once I got behind him there, whatever part of the race it was, I was really trying to learn what I could there. And I noticed kind of like, I think he was staying in third gear and kind of floating through the first section. So I tried it, got used to it, and started carrying some pretty good speed through there. So I kind of got the advantage there. He was faster at the top of the hill coming through the S. When you're dirty air right there, man, you're going so fast, you can't get the nose down to make the left. But yeah, I was just trying like hell to stay with him. He had the pace. We were both on really slippery tires, and I was just trying everything I could to kind of stay with him. If I could stay with him, get to the white flag, maybe send it in somewhere like carousel, and get to his bumper, just get alongside of him. I don't know, the last two corners here, I mean, there's a pretty good chance if you can get beside somebody, you can make it happen. And almost made it, man. Almost made it. Shout out to Andrew. That was the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah, definitely, it was fun to watch, and I think both of you are definitely paying each other respect here through that battle. Looking on ahead, obviously, you've had some conflicts of interest here, but looking if you can make one of the next two races in question, they are both respectively Texas and Martinsville. Obviously, Texas was the race you first won when you came into the series last season. So, thoughts on both those tracks? If you can make it, do you think Texas is still your strong suit, or do you think maybe Martinsville is a little bit better?
Honestly, I like them both. If it was up to me, I'd be here every weekend. My work has been absolutely insane lately. So, if I'm off or if I can get the night off, I'll be here without a doubt. I hate missing these nights. It's wicked fun. I look forward to A squared, and yeah, I don't know. Texas, I think we had a pretty good race last year, so I'm gonna try like hell to be here for that one.
It will definitely be, and hopefully we can see you, because obviously it's a good series when you're out on the track, definitely providing the energy out there. But we've gotten to the point. If there's anyone want to thank, family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, shout out to you, Kevin, ABN, as always, for the broadcast. Shout out to you, Ryan, and ARCS. Always love racing with you guys. Shout out to Andrew again for awesome racing. It was really clean, really fast. I think we were both pushing each other, and the brink of death there, and that's always the most fun. Shout out to Team Conti Sim Performance for being on the car and always having my back. Shout out to Track Bar Media, Track Bar Motorsports, EMR Paintball, Extreme Graphics, and that S4 guy on Twitch. Thank you.
All right, great talk to you, Zach. Hopefully your work can clear up a little bit and we can see you out here again. But regardless, take care. Have a good rest of your week.
You too. Thank you.
And that was our second place finisher, Zach Millett. And that leaves us one more. And I think Ryan has met up with his driver here, if he is here, and we'll hear his thoughts now.
Absolutely. Jacob Bradley. What a race, buddy. Come home P3. I know it probably wasn't what you wanted, but hey, we'll take it. Walk us through your race and how'd that number 12 Ford Mustang treat you tonight?
Man, that was a wild race for me. I know it's probably just gonna say like sixth to third or whatever, but I think I was back in like 35th or something at the start of stage 2. That was I thought I had destroyed my race because I thought Navarro was gonna pit and all of them, and I was gonna have a little bit of time to get on the pit road. No, this time that we came on pit road like maybe a half a second or a second too late. Got the penalty. And then that was a crazy restart. Driving back through the field, had to pull out some fuel saving from TNT to be able to get back on strategy. And man, I didn't know we weren't supposed to take tires at the end. I think I could have been a little bit closer otherwise, but they had a great battle up there, and I didn't have much for them.
Yeah, you still had a great race though. I mean, so walk us through. Obviously, stage 1 you came in early to try and set yourself up for stage 2. Is that something that you had kind of thought about doing from the get-go?
Yeah, I always know at these road courses it's really hard to pass. I felt I had a little bit more speed than some of the people in front of me after we got going in that first stage. So I wanted to kind of flip them there, and I really just messed it up going on a pit road a little bit late, getting that penalty and having to make my life a little bit harder.
Absolutely. Well, you did get 1 stage point for me, so I do appreciate that. Yeah, and you got a 3rd place finish, so much better than I would have done. Hope you enjoyed it. And what's your thoughts? What'd you think? This is your first A squared race. What was your thoughts of the night, and did you have fun out there?
I had a blast that final stage after I kind of figured the car out. It's been like 2 years or a little bit over 2 years since I drove the next gen at one of these road courses. And man, you cannot touch the curbs. It took a while for me to learn that, or at least like aggressively. And it was definitely fun after I finally got some track position, and it looked like the leaders had a great battle from there.
Absolutely. Well, I do know that one of my drivers in presidential racing is actually not able to race anymore. So if you want to run with us on Sundays, you let me know, buddy. We'll get you in a car full time. We'll get you out there and we'll have some fun on Sunday nights.
Yeah, well, I'll look at my schedule and get back to you.
All right, sounds good. He's a busy man. Good job. Congrats on your P3. And if you have anybody you want to thank or shout out, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody in this league for welcoming me in this first race, and nobody really pushed me over the edge there, and everybody ran a really clean race around me. I want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast, and I want to thank everybody watching at home.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully, maybe we'll see you later on in the year, but if not, congrats on your P3 and good job, and we'll see you on Thursday. Me and Rick, maybe we'll talk to you on Thursday night after that race.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. See you, buddy.
And that was P3 there. Jacob Bradley. Obviously love hearing breaking news like that. Obviously, getting the scoops. You don't always get it sometimes as the lead broadcaster, as we don't have reporters on the ground as much, but you always love to hear wheeling and dealing on the live broadcast. But we will take a look, as interviews have now officially concluded here, we will take a look at what is left here, and we will obviously see the final results, and then we will move forward here and get on with the rest of the evening. So, take this off the screen, and we'll take a look at the final results if my tabs want to work here. There we go. Andrew Navarro obviously wins it in a good battle there with Zach Millen. Obviously, don't let that interview screen fool you there, as they were basically fighting tooth and nail to the final sector until Millen ended up going around. Zach Millen gets a P2, and Jacob Bradley rounds out the top 3. Danny Michelle 4th, and Brandon Feather plays good recovery drive from that last incident on the final stage. He'll come home with the top 5. Connor Nolan, Josh Gaiman, David Smeal Jr., Pacey Wyja, and Steve Tucker round out the top 10. Mike LaJoy, Riley Murchio, Colin McDonough, and Cody Pannell take the top 14. Moving further down the results screen here. Jeremy Braille, first car, 1 down as we saw him get put a lap down there at the end. Matthew Kent, 16th. Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, 17th. Matt Verdon, 18th. Brian Dixon, 19th. Brandon Roberts rounding out the top 20. Ross Baxter, 21. Chris Fleming, 22. Dale Markowski, 23rd. Vincenzo Icavazzi, 24th. Kevin Feemster, 25th. Davey Hawk, 26th. David Wright, 27th. Briley Johnson, 28th. All these cars were still running, just obviously 2 down at the moment. Moving further on, Elliot Longnecker, 3rd there, 29th. Josh Battles, 30th, went down 8, and then getting into the retirements. Mark Dila, 31st. Nicholas Pressey, 32nd. Adams, 33rd. Ethan Wood, 34th. Kyle St. John, 35th. Alfred George, 35th, and then I guess St. John, 36th. John Hagan with a very uneventful day after that opening lap incident. He had to take the car behind the wall. He'll be 37th. Marshall Harris, 38th. Gavin Hudspeth, 39th. Tommy Withers, 40th. Jared Merchant, 41st. Avon Norman, a driver we kind of had circled to maybe do some good things, just broke the toe link in the second stage, and he could not continue on. And moving out to the rest, we have Seth Wanzing bringing up the rear here as he had technical wheel problems. Hopefully he'll get that fixed, with Drew Jua not making the field and Thomas Mellon, Kyle Holland being also not present for the race. So that will take us through the results here for the sticker robot at the Glen. We'll take a quick look what's coming up on the calendar for ABN Studios, and then we'll ask Ryan his final thoughts here. So obviously coming up right now, obviously if you're on ABN Studios on YouTube, looks like Carmen has scheduled WCW on ABN, the Spring Stampede, that you can go watch right now after this ends, as that looks like it's going to be a good show. Otherwise, moving through the calendar, Champ Car obviously on Wednesdays. You can catch that on Twitch, ABN1 on Twitch. And obviously, if you're still here for the A Squared action, you can join us here on Sundays, where we'll see, obviously, next week we'll be at Texas. Obviously, I think Ryan will be in the car again for the number 12, and he'll be trying to pilot that car to just a good performance that Jacob Bradley did tonight. But it's been great here with Ryan as well. So, Ryan, I'll leave you with the last word here. Is there anything you want to talk about, anything else you want to shout out while you're here? The floor is yours. Take it away.
Oh, just a great race overall. Appreciate you letting me be in the booth tonight. Hopefully, I am still dealing with some wheel issues, so hopefully I'll have that fixed by next Sunday night. But if not, hey, I might come join you in the booth for Texas as well. So we'll see what happens. But had a lot of fun. I always love broadcasting. I say I enjoy broadcasting more than I do racing. So it's always a blast to get to call these races. You know, road courses sometimes, you know, can be a little bit boring, but tonight was definitely not boring at all. There was great racing all night. So, yeah, I enjoyed it, and it was a blast. And if I'm not in the car next week, I'll be back up here with you again. So we'll see what we can do.
And we'll be glad to see, as obviously you did help me out some sticky spots we had with connectivity issues, but we got that going, and we got that all good, and we brought you great action for the final stage. But regardless, again, thank you, Ryan, for joining us up here. Hopefully, if you can get the wheel, we'll see you next week here up as well. We also wish you well against Shad Swatsworth in the ARCS College Dynasty. Hopefully, you can end up winning the SEC title. But until then, my name is Kevin Young. Ryan here flanking me on the far side, and we'd like to thank you for tuning in. And regardless of wherever you are, we hope you enjoyed it, and hope you all take care. Have a good rest of your week as well.